Hello everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm so excited and happy to have you back. In today's video, we are going to be doing a manga reorganization video. So if you have already watched my very first video, which is a manga collection video, if you haven't, I'd please recommend you watch it. It's pretty cool. Got a lot of really cool things in the collection. But after seeing that, you already have an idea of what's in my collection. So this video is just going to be more focused on moving books around. Won't really be talking a whole lot. I'll throw in some commentary if necessary, just kind of give you an idea of the thought process behind the reorganization. So yeah, so that's it for the voiceover. Let's go to the actual reorganizing.
As you can see, I've kind of already started. I think what I want to do is kind of go back to how I originally organized my manga. Right now, the room is kind of a mess because of me already starting, but I think I'm gonna go back to how I usually had it, like before I organized it by demographic. I'm gonna go back to just alphabetizing it regardless of demographic. I am going to do the smaller single sized manga first, and then I think when I get to the midway point of the Billy, that's where I've spaced the shelves to be a little bit bigger so they can fit the larger prints. I will start those here. So this will probably be the beginning of, I can't think of any big ones off the top of my head, but like again, Dragon Ball. I'm just looking at the ground right now to see which other big ones that I've already put down. Akira Toriyama's Manga Theater. So a lot of those larger ones will start on this row right here and then going across. And then I think that's how I'll do it. So pretty simple. I think it's going to look much better that way. And I think it's going to be easier to find series. I know before the demographic of how I had it organized, but I think this will just make it much simpler. So I think for the rest of the video, I won't really be talking. It's just going to be, I'm thinking like a time lapse of me. Hey, what, buddy? What? The cats are being noisy. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to be speaking much. I think it's just going to be a time lapse. A lot of books being taken off, a lot of books being put on. So yeah, so why don't we just go ahead and get started?
Now there is a disclaimer that I do want to throw out before we get into the nitty-gritty of the organizing. You might notice that I am taking off some series and I might put them back in the same spot. I think I do that a few times throughout this video. And that's just because I might have put some B's up, and then as I look around, I'm like, oh wait, there's this series I forgot to put on the shelf. So, and I am trying to make sure that my volumes aren't too tight. I don't want it to be, impossible to pull a book out as I'm, wanting to read a series. So I do want to make sure it's in there snug, but not too tight. So that you might also notice that too as I'm taking books off and putting them back on the shelf. So just wanted to explain that in case you might notice that and get confused. So here is an example of storing manga too tight on the shelf. You can see me struggling to pull off some volumes of Pokemon here. And I'm not sure if it directly damages the book. It could if you try to shove it in there, and it could possibly damage the cover or damage some pages. So that's just something I want to be more mindful of as I am reorganizing. This is also when I started noticing that a lot of these shelves are pretty dusty. And it's obvious that it's been a little bit since I have dusted these shelves. Usually I would try to do it at least once a week, but it looks like I have been slacking. So I definitely need to get back on that, especially in my living room where my manga collection is currently stored. There are a lot of fans. I have 2 cats, and so it's kind of easy for dust to build up. So I should probably be doing it at least 2 times a week. So going forward, I'm going to make sure that I implement that into my schedule. You might also notice that I'm putting some books that they're just fodder books as place fillers for some series. I only have 1 or 2 volumes left and they're complete. So instead of shifting everything to the side whenever I do get them, I'm using these placeholders. Just whenever I do get them, I can just take the placeholder out and put the new volume in. So you see here Black Torch, I'm only missing volume 2. And then for Black Cat, I'm only missing volume 15. Hey, so I'm back to remind you that the alphabet's hard, okay? I was on C and I completely skipped Chainsaw Man. So that's why you might have noticed the colorless Combatants Will Not Be Dispatched was just on the other shelf, and I instantly moved it to the next shelf because I was already forgetting and overlooked some series. So, but it's fine because we make mistakes in life. We're only human. So you'll see me noticing a lot of my mistakes and going back and trying to correct those. Also, yes, I know there were some shots where I was completely covering the camera, so apologies for that, but I'll make sure to give some time to the shelf so you can see exactly what I put up. Here are some more placeholder volumes that I'm putting in for D. Gray Man. I'm currently only missing volumes 18 and 23 of the total 27. I've been really enjoying D. Gray Man. I've read the first few volumes, and I don't know why I've slept on this series for so long. I really enjoy it. The fights are really cool. The art is amazing, especially for the first few volumes. For the art to come out the gate that amazing is wild to me. and I love the aesthetic, the kind of gothic, dark vibes of it all. So really good series so far. Really enjoying it. So now we are at the first shelf where we are going to be stocking the larger manga prints. So basically any of the Visic titles, any of the larger Kodansha prints, any other, usually this is where like the omnibuses, any hardcovers, those will be grouped with these manga. So as you can see, Dot Hack, Omnibus, 20th Century Boys, Alice in Borderlands again. I think it's better to separate, at least for me, I like it better having the manga separated by size, just because overall, stepping back and looking at the entire collection, it just looks better with everything being the same size. It just makes it look more cohesive. So really excited to get away from the kind of staggered larger and smaller prints to now having them separated. So something that I forgot to show off during my manga collection video because I was just so excited to show it off was that I have a lot of my manga volumes autographed by voice actors. So here on my this big edition of Dragon Ball Volume 1, I was able to get the autographs for both Stephanie Nadolny and Tiffany Vollmer, who were the voice actors of original Bulma and Kid Goku. Return of the voiceover to show off another autographed manga. This is autographed by Caitlin Glass, who is the English voice actor for Winry. Also using another placeholder manga here, since there is going to be, I believe, just one more volume of the Full Metal Alchemist Full Metal editions. So really excited, really looking forward to getting the last volume and completing the whole series. Here we are finally to shelf number 3, bookshelf number 3. First shelf at the very top, we are going to be resuming with the smaller sized manga, leaving off with the remaining volumes of Ice Shield 21. Another example of Thibby not knowing his alphabet. I completely left out Harakana Receive, High School of the Dead, Hoshin Engi, and Haven't You Heard I'm Sakamoto. So I had to do a little backup, little rewind, so I can fit those all in before I got too far into the organization. So luckily I was able to realize it while I was on the H's. So I just had to, take a step back and make sure I had them all alphabetized correctly. And now we have made it finally to the fourth Billy bookshelf, where we again resume our smaller single manga volumes. Kind of wild that we're only at the end of H. We're only to Hunter x Hunter at this point. So yeah, it just goes to show you that I have a lot of manga. But the organization continues. And for Inubaka is another placeholder. I'm only missing volume 16, and unfortunately this series was they only printed the first 17 volumes. I think there's 22 total. So even with all 17, I won't have the complete series. I'll probably just read the rest online. But still a very good series, very cute, very wholesome. If you're a dog person, I would definitely recommend reading it. So this is where we jump ahead just a little bit. I can't remember what exact series I overlooked, but I overlooked a series, and so you might have noticed that like the Siren and the Promised Neverland are on one shelf over than what was in the prior clips. So now in here, you can kind of see me just organize 3 shelves at once. You might notice that I have a missing shelf on the bottom right corner. That's because usually with my Billies, I'll buy a bookshelf with an extra shelf. Unfortunately, at the time of my buying of the 5th Billy bookshelf, they did not have an extra shelf. So it's just awkwardly empty until I get one, which isn't a big deal. I can be patient.
Alright, so we're just going to do a little review. So this is the progress so far of the reorganization. I'm much happier with it. I think it looks much better. And aligning the same size manga with each other, I think it looks much better this way. So there's those first 2 Billy, here's Billy number 3, and there's Billy number 4 and 5. Definitely, I'm much happier with this setup. As you can see, I still have a lot of manga left over to stack. So I was able to get all my singles on the shelf, which is cool. But I have remaining the Viz-Sigs, the deluxe editions, just the larger print sizes. And so what I did was, I'm actually gonna go to Target, get a bookshelf there because they're only $35. So, holla on a budget, I'm gonna go over there, pick one up. I actually got 2, and I think I'm going to replace the JoJo's shelf with a Target shelf. So I'm just gonna trash this and replace it with that. And then I might if I still need the space, I'll put the second bookshelf in my room because I have space in my room for one more shelf. So so without further ado, let's head over to Target and get a shelf, and we'll be right back.
So we're back home with 2 new Target bookshelves, and also, what's up, Leo? That's good old kitty Leo. He's giving me the death stare for some reason. But yeah, Here are 2 new shelves. Excited to get these out. Let's go ahead and build them. And there we go. And I know the first thing you notice is I put the back on backwards on one of the bookshelves. I'm an idiot, but it's okay. It's just going to go straight to my room. Not a lot of people are going to see it. I'll put the one I built correctly in the living room, and I'll call it a day. So you might have already noticed, but as I was stocking these shelves, I noticed that, oh, these are pretty wobbly. And so luckily these came with anchors. And I think I have footage, so you might actually see it in this video, but the one that's in my living room and in my room, I went ahead and anchored them into the wall just to make sure that they were secure and didn't risk toppling over, since my cats love climbing on top of shelves. And both of these are pretty accessible for them, especially the one in my room, because they could just hop on my bed and hop on the shelf. So wanted to make sure that they were safe and didn't risk falling over. So yes, I know JoJo starts with the letter J, and J should have been occurring much earlier in the collection. I should have noticed it earlier, but I thought it'd be a good idea to also turn this shelf into a kind of a JoJo shrine. I'm a giant JoJo's Bizarre Adventure fan, and I do have a lot of figures and artwork, and so I thought that I can have this shelf be kind of half manga related, but like generally, but also half JoJo focused. That's one Target bookshelf down, another one to go. Now we are on to the final bookshelf in the reorganization. So far, really happy with how everything has turned out so far. So the remaining volumes are really just the remaining larger print titles. As you can see here, we have all of Tenjo Tenge, we have some 2 Year Eternities. So really just remaining Viz6 and larger Kodansha prints. And now the reorganization is finally complete. So let's do a final look at all the shelves. So here's the final shelf that's in my bedroom. You can see it's anchored in there. And with the Wotakoi cover, that's the variant from Kinokuniya. I have the little, I can't remember the specific name of the board, but the little art plate there. It's really cool. And this is the other Target bookshelf that's in my living room. You can see I have JoJo'd it out with some JoJo figures and a JoJo art print above. So really happy with how it turned out. I think it looks really sick. And here we are back at the beginning with the 5 Billy bookshelves that are the heart of my collection. So, and that is it for today's video. We'll do a final pan of everything, but thank you so much for sticking it out with me and watching today's video. Please feel free to leave a comment, like the video, subscribe to my channel for future manga related content. Makes me very happy to engage with others and to share the love of manga within the community. Also, if you notice that there are certain series that I don't have in my collection that you feel strongly that I should check out, I know in a prior comment someone told me about Say I Love You, and I actually went out and bought volumes 1 and 2 and really like it so far. So I just think it's really cool to, you know, throw out suggestions, throw out ideas, recommendations, and hopefully you have found a new recommendation from seeing my collection a second time. That's it from me. Thank you so much. This is Thibby signing off. Have a great one.